Spoilers for Days of Our Lives on Friday, May 30th. A heart-wrenching day at the hospital, family, regrets, and emotional flashbacks. The world of Days of Our Lives has been filled with its usual drama, but Friday, May 30th, promises a particularly poignant episode that will leave viewers reflecting on family, love, loss, and the sometimes complicated relationships we have with one another. As the life of John Black hangs in the balance, the families of Marlena, Deidre Hall, and John, Drake Hogestyn, come together to show their support, pray for his recovery, and reflect on their memories of the man who has touched all of their lives in some way. From heartfelt reunions to deeply emotional moments, this day at the hospital will not be easily forgotten. Will's return to Marlena's side. In a deeply emotional turn, Will Horton, Chandler Massey, rushes to the hospital to be by the side of his beloved grandmother, Marlena, as she watches over her husband, John. Although John is not Will's biological grandfather, the bond between them has always been strong. John's love for Will transcends biological ties, and that love has been demonstrated time and time again throughout the years. If John can love Will's mother, Sammy Brady, Allison Sweeney, despite all the hurtful things she has said and done over the years, then surely loving Will is a simple act of family. This emotional moment highlights a major theme of Days of Our Lives: the power of family, even when it's complicated. Through the years, John has shown an immense amount of love and patience for everyone he has called family, including Sammy, who has often tested that patience. Will's return to the hospital shows just how much John meant to him and the family dynamic he was embraced into. Will's arrival is not only to offer support to Marlena, but to reconnect with those he's shared so many significant moments with. As he joins his relatives around John's hospital bed, including Brady, Eric Martsolf, Belle, Martha Madison, Paul, Sean Christopher, and Eric, Greg Vaughn, they are united in one thing: their love for John and their shared memories. A family's heartbreak. Flashbacks to John's life. As the family gathers to pray for John's recovery, viewers are treated to flashbacks of the good and bad times they've shared with him. These memories are rich and emotional, taking fans on a trip down memory lane, showcasing the highs and lows of John Black's life. From his first appearance in Salem to his struggles and triumphs, John has played a pivotal role in so many of the storylines that have shaped the lives of those in Salem. Flashbacks are a key part of soap opera storytelling, and Days of Our Lives uses this device to great effect. It's impossible to ignore the long history of John Black and his involvement in the lives of Marlena and her children. Whether it was his unwavering support of Marlena during her toughest times or his complex relationship with his own son, Brady, viewers are reminded of just how much John has meant to all of them. For the family gathered around his hospital bed, these flashbacks bring both comfort and sadness. They remember the man who loved them all unconditionally, but they also mourn the idea that they might lose. The stakes are high, and emotions are running deep as each family member reflects on their relationship with John. Johnny's regret and anger, a family in turmoil, while the rest of the family gathers around John, supporting each other and reminiscing. Johnny DiMera, Carson Boatman, is struggling with his own emotions. Johnny, though saddened by the prospect of losing his grandfather, has his own turmoil to deal with. As much as he wants to be there for his family, Johnny cannot escape his own feelings of anger and regret. Johnny's relationship with his father, E.J., Dan Furigal, has been rocky for quite some time, and this situation has only made things worse. Johnny feels the weight of his past mistakes, particularly in how he distanced himself from his father while dealing with the trauma of his own life. Now, he realizes that in his time of need, he didn't have the support he should have received from the one person who should have been there for him the most. This leaves Johnny feeling angry. He's angry at his father for not being there when he needed him. In his eyes, his father's failures might as well have been directly responsible for the suffering John is now facing. Johnny's deep inner conflict comes to a head in this episode, and fans will see the full extent of his frustration and heartbreak. E.J.'s manipulative ways, Kristen and the DiMera family drama. Meanwhile, at the DiMera mansion, things aren't going quite so smoothly for E.J., Dan Furigal, and his sister, Kristen, Stacy Haiduk. While their father, Stefano DiMera, may no longer be around to stir up trouble, the DiMera family continues to operate with its usual level of dysfunction. E.J. takes a moment to remind Kristen of the complex, often uncomfortable history they share, and the history of their family. At one point, Kristen had considered E.J. her son, due to his close relationship with her father, John. However, this twisted family dynamic becomes even more complicated when you add in the fact that Kristen shares a child with John's biological son, Brady. It's a reminder of how much Adam's timeline has been altered over the years, and just how messy the DiMera family's story really is. E.J. and Kristen's conversation quickly turns to business, as is often the case in the DiMera household. E.J. offers Kristen a deal, suggesting that he could make a trade involving her mother, which would help further his own interests in getting Brady to back his bid for control of University Hospital. As is typical for the DiMera family, this offer is not born out of genuine goodwill or love, but rather a manipulation of power. Kristen's anger and the family's ongoing struggles. Kristen, however, is not in the mood to negotiate. She's too emotionally invested in the situation with John's health, and her frustrations boil over. Despite her usual sharp wit and cunning ways, Kristen is deeply affected by the fact that her brother is not supporting her in the way she expects him to. As she unleashes her anger on E.J., the tension between them is palpable. Their sibling rivalry adds another layer of complexity to the already chaotic family dynamic. While Brady is busy dealing with John's critical condition and the rest of the family, Kristen's frustrations grow. She wants her brother's help, but she doesn't feel like he's listening to her. Instead of offering the support she needs, E.J. chooses to withhold his assistance, using the situation to further his own agenda. This, of course, only deepens the divide between the DiMera siblings, adding yet another strain to an already fractured family. Conclusion. As the day at the hospital unfolds, Days of Our Lives reminds us of the deep complexities and emotional layers that define the lives of its characters. From Will's heartfelt return to Marlena's side to Johnny's internal battle with his father and Kristen's anger at E.J., this episode is filled with moments of reflection, grief, and tension. On this Thursday, May 29, 2025, viewers of Days of Our Lives were taken deeper into a gripping and emotional storyline unfolding within the walls of the grand DiMera mansion. The episode picks up exactly where it left off the day before, diving into a heated and dramatic conversation between Rachel and Kristen, a mother-daughter duo caught in the turmoil of a secret that has been haunting Rachel for months. The tension in the air is palpable as Rachel confides in Kristen about a frightening incident she witnessed involving Johnny and Uncle EJ. Rachel reveals that she saw Johnny engaged in a physical fight with EJ, an altercation so serious it involved a gun. She insists to Kristen that what she saw was true, describing a chaotic and dangerous confrontation. However, Kristen is bewildered and asks a pressing question: why did Rachel keep silent about such a serious event for so long? Rachel's answer is both heartbreaking and complex. She says she didn't want Johnny to get into trouble. Despite the intensity of what she witnessed, she was protecting him. Her concern for Johnny's safety and future was stronger than her impulse to speak out. On top of that, Rachel reveals something even more chilling: Uncle EJ had kidnapped her. This detail adds a whole new layer of drama and complexity to the story, explaining why emotions are running so high. Rachel states bluntly that he got what he deserved, hinting at deep resentment or justification for what happened. Kristen responds with a heavy sigh, clearly torn by the situation. She confesses she never wanted Uncle EJ to be hurt, showing a softer, more vulnerable side of her character. But the conversation takes another turn when Kristen presses Rachel for the truth about what happened with the gunshot. Rachel admits, in a vulnerable moment, that she never actually saw Johnny pull the trigger. She panicked, ran upstairs, and eventually fell asleep, unable to remember whether a gunshot had been fired. This uncertainty adds a haunting ambiguity to the entire incident. Kristen, ever the voice of reason and protection, suggests that if Johnny really did nothing wrong, they should keep the secret to themselves for now. She acknowledges that keeping this secret has been eating away at Rachel for a long time, wearing her down emotionally. Kristen encourages Rachel, saying that finally telling her might bring some relief. But the truth is far more complicated. Rachel, clutching her stomach in anguish, breaks down in tears and confesses that she feels worse now than she did before sharing the secret. It's a powerful and poignant moment, showing how painful it can be to carry a secret, and how sharing it doesn't always immediately bring peace. Seeing her daughter so distraught, Kristen pulls Rachel into a comforting hug, a tender gesture of support and love amidst the storm.